Watch Elon Musk step off his private jet at any high-profile event. No frantic checking of his phone for rideshare apps. No complaining about delayed commercial flights. No designer logos screaming for attention. He moves with the quiet confidence of someone who owns his time, his space, and his decisions. The man who understood this code never goes back. Hit that subscribe button right now and leave a like if you want to learn the unspoken codes that distinguish an elite man from those still climbing the ladder. The notification bell ensures you never miss the strategies that will set you apart from 99% of men around you. The transition from middle class to elite has absolutely nothing to do with your current bank balance. It has everything to do with how you think, move, and command respect when nobody's watching. Here is what most men get completely wrong. They think upgrading their status means louder announcements about their success. The opposite happens entirely. According to recent financial data, only 19% of households are considered upper class, while over half of Americans remain middle class. The behaviors that separate these groups are more subtle than most men realize. Pay attention now. This is where boys become men and men become legends. 1. You stop explaining your financial decisions to anyone. When Jensen Huang, Chief Executive Officer of NVIDIA, became number 1 on Fortune's 2025 ranking of the world's 100 most powerful business people, he did not spend time justifying his chip manufacturing strategies to competitors. He did not explain why his company commands premium prices. Elite men operate from an entirely different psychological framework. They no longer require external approval for their financial choices. Note this down. The middle-class mindset requires consensus and approval for major purchases. It seeks validation through justification. Elite thinking requires only your own conviction. You stop explaining why you hired the architect instead of using your contractor buddy. You no longer justify the expensive restaurant choice to dinner companions. Your confidence speaks louder than any explanation ever could. Something fascinating happens when you reach this level of self-possession. Explaining your choices actually diminishes their impact. Silence amplifies your authority exponentially. Mystery becomes your most powerful asset. The difference is this. It is like drinking 30-year-old single malt whiskey from a crystal glass versus downing energy drinks from plastic cups. The man who needs to announce his choice has already lost the game. Listen to this. The man ascending to elite status understands that his decisions speak for themselves. He needs no external validation for choices made from deep conviction. This transformation requires courage because it means disappointing people who expect constant justification. Who still needs explanation is light years behind. 2. Your relationship with brands becomes completely strategic. There is a moment when you realize that wearing obvious logos makes you look like a walking advertisement rather than a man of substance. America's wealthy 1% are moving away from quiet luxury toward bold expression, but this boldness comes from confidence, not compensation. The truly sophisticated understand the difference between strategic brand choices and desperate status signaling. Ralph Lauren built his empire understanding this principle. Starting from humble beginnings, as the son of an artist and house painter, he dropped out of college but never let his ambition fade. He eventually created the Ralph Lauren Corporation that became synonymous with understated American luxury. His success came from understanding that true luxury whispers while insecurity shouts. Pay attention to this shift. Elite men begin discovering the pleasure of owning beautiful things that only they know are expensive. Your watch tells stories rather than shouting prices. You realize that discerning quality has become more important than recognizable labels. Your wardrobe evolves to reflect mastery rather than trends. Impeccably tailored pieces replace logo-heavy items. You discover that timeless elegance commands more respect than any designer label ever could. Here is the code. The middle-class mindset seeks external validation through recognizable symbols. It relies on brands as social crutches. Genuine elite behavior operates from such deep security that it needs no external reinforcement. The man who arrived at the top signs with a Mont Blanc pen and disappears in the silence of victory. 3. You develop multiple revenue streams without broadcasting them. Financial experts consistently note that upper-class individuals never rely on a single paycheck. Multiple income streams are a key indicator of transitioning from middle to upper class. But here is the crucial difference. Elite men build these streams strategically and discuss them rarely. Consider how Larry Ellison built Oracle from a $2,000 investment into a database empire. Starting with just $2,000 in 1977, Larry's never-give-up attitude grew into Oracle, a giant name in database software. He understood that true wealth comes from assets that appreciate while you sleep. His focus remained on building systems rather than trading time for money. Write this down. Elite men think in terms of equity, royalties, and passive income rather than hourly wages or monthly salaries. They create businesses that generate revenue without their constant presence. They discuss these ventures only when strategically beneficial. You stop mentioning your real estate investments to casual acquaintances. Your business ventures become private matters rather than conversation starters. This discretion signals deeper financial sophistication than any boasting ever could. The transformation requires understanding that wealth accumulation is a private affair. Your financial portfolio becomes like your blood test results, private, valuable, indisputable. That is the point that separates common men from those who command. 4. Your time becomes sacred territory. You guard fiercely. High net worth individuals are proactively safeguarding their physical and mental health with a view to adding years, if not decades, to their time on earth. They understand that time is their most precious asset. Elite men stop accepting every social invitation and business meeting. They become incredibly selective about how they spend their most valuable resource. Middle-class men often pride themselves on being busy. They wear exhaustion like a badge of honor. Elite men understand that availability is the enemy of value. Your calendar becomes intentionally spacious. You schedule time for reflection, reading, and the kind of slow thinking that allows for genuine strategic planning. This shift terrifies people still operating from scarcity mindset. When Mark Zuckerberg stepped back from day-to-day Facebook operations to focus on the metaverse, he demonstrated this principle perfectly. Zuckerberg envisions Meta as a leader in building the metaverse, understanding it as the next evolution of social networking. He protected his time for long-term thinking rather than reactive management. Listen carefully. When you protect your time fiercely, people begin valuing it more highly. Scarcity creates desire. You realize that your presence has become a gift rather than an obligation. The dinner party that once seemed mandatory because everyone will be there loses its appeal when you understand that everyone being somewhere often diminishes rather than enhances the experience. Excellence is not discussed, it is lived. 5. You curate your social circle like a private members club. Elite men understand what successful luxury enthusiasts know. Networking is a key pillar of the luxury lifestyle. They cultivate relationships with like-minded individuals to access unique experiences and opportunities. But this goes far beyond surface-level networking. It becomes about energy management and strategic relationship building. The transition to elite thinking requires becoming extremely selective about who receives access to your energy and attention. You begin noticing that some relationships drain you while others elevate you. You make choices that might seem ruthless to those operating from middle-class social obligations. Your social gatherings become smaller but infinitely more meaningful. Quality replaces quantity in every aspect of your social life. You realize that the friend who constantly complains but never takes action loses his place at your dinner table. The acquaintance who discusses money incessantly reveals his own insecurities and gradually fades from your inner circle. This process requires courage because it means disappointing people who expect your constant availability. You stop pretending to enjoy activities that bore you. You free yourself and others to find more compatible companions. Note this: elite men surround themselves with people who inspire excellence rather than those who celebrate mediocrity. Want to know if you have arrived there yet? Listen to this. 6. Silence becomes your most powerful communication tool. Warren Buffett, often called the Wizard of Omaha, demonstrates this principle masterfully. As one of the world's most successful investors and consistently one of the wealthiest people globally, Buffett's restraint in communication has become legendary. He speaks rarely, but when he does, markets listen. The middle-class impulse fills every conversational gap and proves intelligence through constant commentary. It reveals insecurity through over-talking. Elite behavior operates differently by recognizing that silence often communicates more than speech. You stop feeling obligated to have opinions about everything. You become comfortable with mysterious spaces in conversation. When someone asks what you think about the latest social media controversy, you might simply say, "How interesting," and change the subject entirely. Your restraint commands more attention than anyone else's eloquence. You realize that strategic silence has become your signature power move. You discover that withholding your thoughts from public consumption drives people absolutely mad, which tells you everything about the power of conversational restraint. Your words carry more weight because you use fewer of them. This discipline becomes a competitive advantage in every interaction. The man who reached the summit does not explain the view to those still climbing. 7. Your relationship with money becomes completely private. Authentic old money behavior includes never mentioning prices or comparing costs of things you buy. Real wealth means freedom and security, not showing off expensive things. Elite men understand that discussing financial matters reveals preoccupation with monetary positioning rather than genuine confidence. You stop participating in conversations about home prices, vacation costs, salary negotiations, or investment returns. These topics become like medical information, important but private. Your withdrawal from financial discussions protects you from the exhausting game of comparison that consumes middle-class social interaction. When Jeff Bezos built Amazon from an online bookstore into the world's largest e-commerce platform, becoming the wealthiest person in the world for 4 years, from 2017 through 2021, he did not spend time discussing his personal wealth publicly. His focus remained on business strategy and long-term vision. This transformation requires discipline because people constantly attempt to engage you in money discussions. Your wealth becomes like good health, something you maintain carefully but discuss rarely. This discretion paradoxically signals deeper financial security than any boasting ever could. Your financial life becomes a private matter that speaks through results rather than announcements. Take note of this. The man who needs to announce his wealth has already revealed he does not possess it. 8. You develop impeccable taste in everything around you. Highly successful luxury enthusiasts are intentional about their surroundings, from bespoke furniture to exclusive experiences, meticulously curating every aspect of their lives to reflect impeccable taste. The evolution from middle class to elite requires developing discernment that extends far beyond fashion into every aspect of your environment. Your taste becomes your signature. The books on your shelves, the wine in your cellar, the art on your walls reflect careful consideration rather than trending preferences. You understand that true luxury lies in having beautiful things that enhance your daily experience rather than impress occasional guests. Consider how Steve Jobs revolutionized Apple through his obsessive attention to design and user experience. Jobs spearheaded the creation of innovative products that captivated the public and generated strong demand, making Apple one of the big 4 technology companies. His success came from understanding that excellence in every detail creates lasting impact. This development requires honest assessment of your current preferences. You ask whether you choose restaurants because they photograph well or because the food delights you. You realize that authentic refinement comes from pleasing yourself rather than impressing others. Your living space, your entertainment choices, your daily rituals all become expressions of genuine sophistication rather than performance for others. Pay attention now. Taste cannot be bought, it must be cultivated. 9. Your conversations become intellectually nutritious. Elite behavior focuses on discussing ideas rather than money or possessions, engaging in conversations about books, art, current events, and meaningful experiences. This shift represents more than changing topics. It reflects a fundamental transformation in what captures your attention and intellectual curiosity. You notice a remarkable change in what captivates your attention during social interactions. Discussions about ideas, innovations, cultural observations, and strategic thinking begin dominating your conversational preferences. You discover that this shift elevates every interaction you have. When Satya Nadella transformed Microsoft's culture, he became one of the megatech chief executive officers in Fortune's top 10 most powerful by focusing conversations on growth mindset and collaborative innovation rather than competitive positioning. His intellectual approach to leadership created lasting organizational change. The change happens gradually but becomes unmistakable. You find yourself steering conversations away from gossip and toward what people are reading, thinking, and discovering. Others begin seeking your company specifically for the quality of conversation you provide. Your questions become more sophisticated because your curiosity extends beyond social positioning into genuine learning. Here is the difference. While others discuss people, you discuss ideas. While others complain about problems, you architect solutions. This is the point that separates men who consume from men who create. 10. You embody grace under pressure in every situation. The ultimate sign that you are transcending middle-class thinking lies in how you handle conflict, disappointment, and stress. Elite behavior maintains composure regardless of circumstances. It never allows external chaos to disturb internal equilibrium. Well-being is the ultimate luxury. Successful luxury enthusiasts invest in maintaining a balanced and rejuvenated life, recognizing that true wealth includes health, vitality, and longevity. When the restaurant loses your reservation, when the flight gets cancelled, when someone treats you rudely, your response reveals your true level of refinement. Elite men stop taking things personally. They respond to difficulties with solutions rather than dramatics. Their energy becomes steady and reliable rather than reactive and unpredictable. People begin turning to you during crises because they know you will remain calm and find practical solutions. This transformation requires genuine self-possession rather than performed confidence. Your composure becomes a natural expression of inner strength rather than a mask covering insecurity. You discover that this authentic grace attracts opportunities and relationships that align with your elevated standards. Note this down. The storm reveals who has an anchor and who has been drifting. The code has been revealed. These 10 signs represent more than behavioral changes. They indicate a fundamental shift in how you view yourself and your place in the world. This transition requires courage because it means releasing the external validation systems that once felt so important. According to Charles Schwab's Modern Wealth Survey, people believe it takes an average net worth of $2.2 million to be considered wealthy. But elite behavior is not about having money. It is about embodying the qualities that create lasting wealth: self-possession, discernment, grace, and the quiet confidence that comes from knowing your own worth. The fascinating truth about ascending to elite behavior is that it benefits everyone around you. Your composure creates stability for others. Your refined taste elevates shared experiences. Your strategic thinking contributes valuable perspective. You discover that this transformation has enriched your life in ways you never anticipated. Remember that becoming an elite man requires nothing external to validate its worth. It commands respect and admiration wherever it appears. It transforms every space you enter simply through your presence. This is the power of authentic elite behavior. It operates from internal conviction rather than external approval. Fashion is not luxury, it is power. If you want to master these sophisticated behaviors and continue learning the refined approaches that will elevate every aspect of your life, subscribe to Man of Elegance right now. Hit that notification bell so you never miss content that teaches you the subtle arts of masculine elegance and power. For even more personalized guidance on developing these elite behaviors, consider becoming a patron of this channel by joining our membership club, starting at just $4.99 per month. Click the membership button to support content that teaches you the unspoken codes of masculine sophistication. If you understood the code, write "Elite Mindset wins everything" in the comments. Only those who are ready will know what this means. The rest will keep wondering why some men command rooms while others just occupy space. The choice is yours. But remember, excellence recognizes excellence, and mediocrity, well, mediocrity speaks for itself.